If you struggle with chronic fatigue, you know the pain of having someone imply that you're lazy. Hey thinkers, welcome to Harness Thought. This is the channel where we harness the power of our thoughts in order to bring the chaos in our minds to order in our lives. Last week, we tackled the first lesson that everyone sees every single day in order to make sure that it's a positive message that we're sending ourselves. I will leave a link to this video in the cards up above my head or in the description box below. This week, and maybe for a few more, before we dive into the other messy hot spots in our home, I believe it would be really beneficial for us to address our thought processes in regards to managing our home. I used to call myself lazy because I hated cleaning and I rarely did it. That's still pretty accurate. Until I realized something. My house wasn't nasty. I would have company over and they were actually telling me how clean they thought my house was. Come again? How is that even possible for a lazy person like me? Well, I can tell you that it is possible because after years of dealing with chronic illness-induced fatigue and sometimes laziness, I learned something. It's called efficiency. A little disclaimer here. Laziness and chronic fatigue syndrome are not the same thing. They're not even on the same planet. But hey, I'm just being real with you. I have been known to struggle with both. If you struggle with chronic fatigue, you know the pain of having someone accuse you of being lazy. So whether laziness is present in you and me or not, none of us want to appear to suffer from the vice of laziness, which results in our possessions being in a general state of disrepair and filth. But again, let me reiterate, chronic fatigue is not a vice, it is a condition. Unfortunately, the results of chronic fatigue and laziness can be identical. That's why learning efficiency works for both cases. If you can relate to this, then please subscribe and stay tuned until the end. I want to help you tackle your specific trouble areas, your house's hot spots. You'll find out how at the end of the video. So what is efficiency? We hear this term used all the time in reference to machinery. How energy efficient is your washer or dryer or your fridge? How gas efficient is the car that you drive? But have you considered how efficient you are with yourself? Sure, most of us have considered how efficient we are in managing our time, but have we thought about how well we manage our mental energy? What about our physical energy? Sure, others are in better health than you are, but none of us are the Energizer Bunny. We all have a limited amount of energy that we have to manage. The more efficiently we learn how to manage ourselves physically and mentally, the more energy we'll have for our favorite pastimes, like mine, which is napping. The definition of efficiency, according to the all-knowing Wikipedia, is efficiency is the often measurable ability to avoid wasting materials, energy, efforts, money, and time in doing something or in producing a desired result. In a more general sense, it is the ability to do things well, successfully, and without waste. So I don't know about you, but when I think about the work I have ahead of me, especially in regards to housekeeping, cleaning the house and keeping it clean looks daunting and somewhat useless, considering the fact that I am an accidental homeschooler. The kids never leave. Why would I consider cleaning the house for an hour a day when it is going to be destroyed in approximately 12.7 seconds? I am already exhausted, and thinking about the repetitive work ahead of me drains me of even more energy that I didn't already have. For me, it feels like a complete waste of energy. But let's look again at our definition of efficiency. It is the ability to avoid wasting materials, energy, effort, money, or time. And at the same time, it is the ability to produce the desired results well. So efficiency has two criteria. On the one hand, we must avoid waste. And on the other, we must produce the desired result well. Both criteria have to happen in order to be considered efficient. So let's look at trains. No, I'm not into trains, but it'll work to get the point across. And my kids love Thomas the Train. Steam engines and diesel locomotives, we have too many toys. That's for another video. But trains, steam engines and diesel locomotives do the same thing. They have the same purpose. They move cargo and people to a desired destination. But steam engines are no longer in commercial use. Why? Because steam engines are notoriously inefficient and labor intensive. Get this. Steam engines used 60 pounds of coal per mile. That means in order for a steam engine to go at max speed, which was actually about 60 miles per hour, someone had to shovel in 15 pounds of coal every 15 seconds. Let's just do a little simple math here. The United States is about 3,000 miles across. That means that humans had to shovel 180,000 pounds of coal just to make that trip one way. Just think about the man hours, the man biceps that was required to shovel that much rock just to burn. Not to mention the space for the coal, the added weight of the coal, and the stops to replenish the coal. And we're not even mentioning the water to produce the steam. You get the picture. Bruce Lee may have been something other than human, but even he couldn't handle that kind of work. Diesel engines, by comparison, require much less labor, much less manpower, less space for fuel, and less frequent stops. They are far more efficient. But if you suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome like I do, you may feel a little bit more like the archaic steam locomotive. And with your current habits, you probably are. But the good news is you can learn ways to use less energy and still get the same awesome results of having a super clean house, or at least a neat one. Depends on your standards. I personally have a goal of keeping my house 30 minutes from being company ready. So, fellow chronic fatigue sufferers, or fellow citizens of Lazytown, we can harness the power of our thoughts and even our current energy in order to become energy efficiency experts. We are not going to try to muster up more energy. That's usually counterproductive. We are actually going to think about how we use the energy we currently have more efficiently and with more wisdom in order to get us to our desired results, which is a clean home. So what is one way to add efficiency to your routine? The first and easiest way is to look at your daily current habits. We're not talking about creating a new routine, just look at your current habits. And if there's something you can do along the way, like what I do, which is in the mornings when I wake up, after I have made my bed and have my devotionals, I will walk downstairs, and one of the first things I will do is throw a load of laundry in the washer. I do this now almost without thinking. It's literally on my way to the kids' rooms. If they're not already awake, which they usually actually are, I can go wake them up then. But it just becomes habit. Maybe for you, it's after washing your face, you just wipe down the counters really quick with a hand towel, and then you throw that hand towel in the laundry. And then you take a load of laundry and put it in the wash. You get my gist. But don't get overwhelmed. This week isn't so much about changing a habit, it's about observing your current habits. Last week, I had you begin tackling your first hotspot. This week, I want you to continue with that hotspot, but I also want you to go around your house and document what actually overwhelms you in your own home. What are the messy hotspots that you need to handle? Seriously, leave it in the comments below, because I may be able to do a video on your specific question. In the next video, I'm going to teach you about the questions to ask yourself in determining whether or not you physically are operating efficiently in your homekeeping. And I'll give you some tips to help you out. So remember, harness the power of thought, convert the chaos in your mind to order in your life. See you in the next video.